Utopia agenda. Everyone knows what the problems are, whether we're talking about the severe lack of accountability in corporate America and the highest levels of our government, or the unwarranted hyperinflation ruining our futures. It's not a mystery that corruption runs rampant and corporate oligarchs rule unaccountably through our lobbied politicians. It's perfectly clear that people's interests are not being served, and in fact, are being worked against. At this point, there's no denying that we have systemic problems that are holding us back. Each individual defective government or defective corporate leader or defective international player will be given a final chance to become a force for good, or we will be replacing them. What does that mean? We're going to non-violently hold defective individuals accountable through the constitutional powers that enable us to do so. There is also a new platform on the horizon for petitions to be created and signed efficiently to give the people direct influence over their local, state, and our national governance. Once the American people are properly educated, this additional check and balance will fortify America's governmental structure. That is to say that uneducated politicians won't be able to make uninformed decisions that harm the people's interests, because properly educated Americans will be replacing defective leaders and influencing the governing agenda. The Constitution was created with this check and balance protocol available for we the people to enact should the precedent to do so arose. After we've repositioned the track America is on first, then we can focus on globalizing the American dream. America is an idea, and part of developing the third world is liberating them from their corrupt local governments and inflated fiat currencies. To do this, we will use the Global America Foundation that enables foreign individuals to apply to be global Americans. That is to say, you'll be considered a Nigerian American or Indian American, but you'll stay in your communities that we will help you develop. You don't get to immigrate to America. You get to bring America's gifts to your people, and you can apply for new types of aid. We can grant you access to the new global internet and a new education platform for you to become fully educated. You will be connected with fellow Americans that speak your language to create a long-term plan for helping you and your people prosper. What that means is if your people need clean water, we'll send you the knowledge you need and drone you over the resources you need to build a filtration system, irrigation system, or water well. The point is you are not alone, and the only thing you need is the willpower to thrive. We can now easily send drones globally at low costs, meaning we can transport the solar panels to bring renewable energy to villages around the world. We can use automated machinery to build electronic components at large scale that they will need, and we can mass produce enriched food to send them as well. So we've established that if you are a Nigerian, you'll now have access to the knowledge, expertise, and resources to help develop your own community. In addition, what you get is your own digital currency wallet to make you not dependent on overinflated fiat currencies. You will be gifted some money to empower you, and you'll be given a universal basic income. You'll be able to earn more money by developing your community. America pays you to develop your own community and fuels your collective rise without any strings attached. This system for empowering foreign populations grows America's influence, creates allies, and salvages human lives. There is no reason why your community can't have renewable energy, clean water, sustainable food sources, proper education, and liberating freedom from corrupt governments and corporate entities. If you need help because of an environmental disaster, you request aid from America through the online platform. We as Americans and global Americans see a database plotted on a 3D virtual Earth simulation that lets you donate to specific causes in real time. When there's a new environmental disaster in Nigeria, we see the problem and can donate to different solutions to the problem. This is how we prioritize charitable donations to have the largest impact on global prosperity. Collectively, we can look out for each other in a more direct and instantaneous way using our new technological capabilities. You see that now. This is not a fantasy pipe dream. It is the exact blueprint for how our utopia will operate. You have to dive into the specifics of each variable that needs to be executed to achieve this ultimate global and interplanetary power structure of the people. The people own this utopia, not a few overlords continuing to own everything over us. Energy will literally be free and wireless. We can transmit energy using lasers, and we're doing that now with rising levels of efficiency, upwards of 80%. In our solar system, there are new sources of renewable energy that can be beamed back to Earth through a chain of lasers and receivers. Our solar cells are becoming more efficient, and our energy storage capacity is drastically increasing. Wireless energy is literally here to stay, but it's yet to be fully commercialized and implemented in modern civilization. It's been a long development process that has been obstructed and delayed by corporate interests. After all, it is a very disruptive technology that requires a complete restructuring of our electrical grid systems. This technology is also how drones will be able to fly indefinitely, because they'll be powered with lasers or other drones charging them up mid-flight, or they'll get enough energy from solar power. Now your imagination is showing you what the future holds, and you're realizing all that is now possible. In addition to these actionable solutions, we also have the geopolitical restructuring that needs to take place. We won't be spending a penny on a military budget, because all the governments of planet Earth will recognize that only a solar system-wide treaty will work for the long term. We literally need a solar system-wide treaty with China, Russia, and all global powers to ensure the long-term prosperity of the human race, because we need to avoid space wars in our future. We'll still have borders and separate cultures where it's wanted, and we'll have inequities due to cultural and local governing differentials. But as a whole, we are united in our quest for the ultimate. We won't be competing against each other for resources or scientific achievements. We'll be working together to reach the same goals 100 times as fast. There won't be imminent wars because our economic interests will be fused together. It will be done with a simple change of minds, hearts, and perspectives. It's like when you decided to grow up or be a good person or stop a bad habit. It's a mental switch where we just decide that what we want is a utopia for everyone that wants it. Any enemies to that utopia power structure are selfish bastards that want to own the future for themselves. It really comes down to that mentality we share or differ on. Having a utopia is as simple as willing it into existence, because now we have the realistic ability to bring it to fruition. Everyone wants to be an American or be prosperous. Everyone wants more for their lives, and will take advantage of a global system that enables them to become more. Ultimately, we're either working towards that universal utopia, or we're letting a dystopia form around us, because stagnation simply isn't an option. So we discussed how we'd spread knowledge and resources globally. We discussed how we'd end war and hunger globally. We discussed how we'd restore a balance of powers here in America and on the world stage. We discussed how we'd maintain free market American capitalism globally in a way that empowers the most individuals. That's all the direction we need to move in to create a more utopian future. And if we collectively shared that ultimate goal, then we'd be able to realistically achieve it at any point in this decade, sooner than later. Again, the point is we have to aim for that, because we don't have another option. There's no going sideways. We're going up to the top through actionable solutions to our problems, or we'll continue to accelerate down to the bottom. Again, we have the medical advancements to cure the top causes of death and extend our lifespans to multiple hundreds of years. We have all the technology we need right now, and the only thing we're missing is the shared understanding of what our purpose is with these blessings. Remember, our purpose isn't to be stagnant and not evolving. Our purpose is the ultimate one that involves either a people's utopia or letting a few elites continue to control everything only to break away from our civilization to form their own superior breed of alien kind with or without harming us in the process. Remember, that's only possible because of the fact we can genetically alter our natural beings in living cells and play God by genetically engineering the next generations using our artificial intelligence and gene therapy technology. You don't have that technology, the information of how to do it, or the resources or the power to make it happen how you want. You are unable to harness it. Rich families and rich individuals are the ones that have access to that sorcery. And we're supposed to be outraged about that. We're supposed to be having massive debates, demanding massive regulatory measures, and securing the integrity of the natural human genome. What is going on? We just allow the extended growth of human-animal hybrid experiments to go unchecked by our representatives. Has no man or woman objected hard enough to these devilish acts of sorcery? Why are you only just thinking this through this far in the game? Well, no longer shall you allow for this to continue, because now you are empowered with the knowledge. You realize how grave the consequences can be if we let developments continue to accelerate unchallenged. You share the Utopia vision because you recognize the dystopian agenda consuming us should we fail to create one. If you don't share that clear vision and you don't recognize the dystopian agenda closing in, then you are nothing but a mere spectator and a victim. You either realize how far we've come and how far we are going, or your brain is glitching out from the information overload. You either have an accurate worldview by actually thinking, or you'll continue to be tricked into thinking anything. To unlock your true potential, you have to be independently educated and motivated to see our ultimate future, while fighting against those that want the future for themselves. It's called good versus evil, and this has been the way of all civilizations before us, and likely those that get to this late stage of technological advancement. The point where we get so advanced that it comes down to the goodness or the evilness of those that own all the technology over the people. Think about that, and how simple that is. When the good people own the technology and the world stage, then a utopia ultimately blossoms, and if the wrong people own it, there's literally nothing stopping them from securing a global dystopian technocratic power structure. You do understand. One of the main problems preventing us from achieving our full prosperity potential is the fact that we allow for apparently evil people to lobby for their corporate interests that usually go against the people's interests. You know that already. You shouldn't need to be told that. Even our good politicians become corrupted, and it's these evil corporate interests that have historically been the primary enemies of the people. I don't like tossing around the word evil or enemy of the people, but for some reason many of you need a reminder. Lobbyists are corrupting our good politicians, are working against the people's interests, and are in control of our governing system through this form of bribery. You should agree that we need to limit and surveil all lobbying efforts while making that information public knowledge for the people to see what their leaders are doing. Imagine if all interactions and communications between our trusted politicians and these apparently evildoers had to be public knowledge. First of all, it would deter corruption from occurring. And secondly, when it does still occur, the people would know, so they will replace the defective politician and go after that defective lobbyist agenda. That sounds like what should be common sense, right? In addition, we will have our own people's lobby that will allow us to combat the deep pockets of evil lobbyists, as we'll have the working capital to get non-corruptible representatives in positions of power, which costs a lot of money. If every one of us had the knowledge as presented here, then we wouldn't continue to be victims of a system working against us in plain sight.